God, I hate that this bright light is shining in my eyes, but I have no other way to create good lighting, so here I am. What's good, YouTube? It's Sydney Island here. That's Island with the Y, not an S. And the topic of today's video is, why are black women so angry? I want to start off by saying that everybody gets angry. You know, everybody feels anger. But black women, we express our anger differently than a lot of people. And I get that sometimes the way that we express our anger can be overbearing to people who are not used to it. But it's not just that. It's also that black women do seem like we're more angry because of the way that society treats us. It's not just that we're walking around here angry just for the sake of being angry. A lot of it does stem from hurt and depression and just feeling completely treated like crap by society. This is one of those things that is just hard to address, and I get anxiety talking about it because I don't want to say the wrong thing, and I want to be able to address everything. It's just so much to talk about with this topic that I feel nervous because I'm just hoping that I get everything in, because there's a lot of ground to cover when it comes to the topic of race and, you know, colorism and, you know, anything that's controversial. If you're a YouTuber and you're filming a video about it, you're going to feel a little nervous because you never know, you know, how people are going to receive it. But for me, I really, when I make these videos, I just want to bring a new perspective to a topic that has been going on for a long time, that people have been talking about, because people believe a lot of times just what they see in the media without actually trying to understand the deeper meaning behind things. And people are not trying to understand the deeper meaning behind why black women are angry. And I'm not saying that not everybody is empathetic and, you know, not everybody cares and all this type of stuff, but there are some people, a lot of people, who just see black women as just these angry, vicious beings that is just really far from reality. I want to start off by saying that I, Sydney Island, am a very sensitive, soft-spoken person. And for me, the majority of feelings that I feel is like, I feel socially awkward. I'm an introvert. I'm very shy. You know, I'm pretty much all the things that are not depicted in the media. I'm a nerd, a huge nerd, and I've always been a nerd, and I've always been bullied for being a nerd, you know. But even way back when I was like 14, I still had like nerd pride, you know, because I'm like, I'm a nerd. Like, you know, nerds are smart. Like, why should I feel bad because I'm smart? You know, and people try to bully me for being smart. But that's another topic for another video. The fact of the matter is that, wouldn't you feel angry if you were a certain way that you felt was pretty decent, but people depicted you as completely just negative all the time in many different movies and many different TV shows, and you would just get tired of it, you know? You would get tired of being represented in a way that's completely not who you are, and it's not how your mother is, and it's not how your grandmother is, and it's not how your sisters are, and you have all these deep intellectual conversations with your sisters and with other black women, and then you feel like, man, why can't this be on TV? You know, wouldn't it be great if people could see us having this deep spiritual conversation so they can know that there is magic in the black woman, and we are so much more than just rage. We have feelings. We have, you know, triggers and sensitivities. We're just humans, just like everybody else. We have, you know, trauma, you know, we have, you know, moments where we don't feel strong, moments where we just want to run and hide. And if anything, we should feel like we want to run and hide more than anybody else, because every time I leave my house being a black woman, I feel somewhat like a target. And I don't know if other black women necessarily feel that way. God, just forgive me for the flickering. It's the bad lighting. Maybe if I pull this closer. I don't know if other black women feel the same way that I do, but when I leave my house, I feel like a target. I feel somewhat afraid, you know, because I usually, Even when it's, oh my God, it's just so much, man. It's just so freaking much. It's hard to make friends as a black woman, especially when you're making friends with people who are not black, because you always have like fears in the back of your mind that they're going to be racist or they're not going to understand your struggles. And the thing that really bothers me is that we have rage because of the crappy way the society has treated us for centuries. And then as soon as we want to talk about it, then people call us bitches and they say that we're overbearing and they try to shut us up and they shut down or they ignore us, and that's frustrating because you get treated like crap, and then you want to talk about getting treated like crap and then no one listens, so then you're angry. You want to express why you're angry, and then people do things that make you angry about why you're angry. It's freaking complicated. It really is. This is a complicated topic. It's not an easy topic to cover. So I just want to say that everybody's different, and I'm going to be real. I'm going to be very real when I say this. There are some black women out here that can be very ratchet and ghetto. Okay, let me just be real. And they do kind of make other black women look bad, but at the same time, you're ignorant if you assume that all black women are that way. If you see a group of black women being what you consider ghetto or ratchet, you're ignorant to assume that all black women are that way. Because all black women don't come from the same city, country, all black women aren't raised the same. All black women don't have the same personalities. Let's not even mention zodiac signs and birth charts and numerology, life path numbers. I mean, we're all so complex and so different. Black women and human beings. And wouldn't it be stupid for me to assume that all white people are racist? Like, you know what I mean? It's like the same thing. And it's just hard for me to touch on this topic because I don't want to offend anybody, because I'm not racist and I don't like the racist energy. It sounds really cheesy when I say, I have white friends, or I don't have, I have, friends of mixed races, but I do. I have friends of different races. I'm very inclusive racially on my channel and in my personal life. So I never want anybody to get the impression that I have any hatred towards a race. I just want to talk about the struggles that black women feel. There's also issues with relationships when it comes to black women. We all know the statistic that black women are least likely to get married out of all women, and it's because we have this complexity, with just us being us. It's just so much more like layers on top of just us being us, because we're often fetishized. Is the word fetishized? It's so hard to say that word. We're treated as a fetish rather than as a whole woman. We're treated as like a sex object rather than as a woman with intellect and intelligence, and so a lot of black women were very guarded because we're afraid that people will just look at us as something that is completely different than them and just way off somewhere from another planet. And oftentimes they'll either look at us like we're ghetto or we're too much to handle. Like, I consistently suppress my attitude and my opinion in fear that people will think that I'm ghetto when I know that I'm not. Like, I didn't grow up in the ghetto, and I'm not hating on anybody that did grow up in the ghetto, because my mother grew up in the ghetto and my aunts and uncles grew up in the ghetto, and I have respect for anybody who grew up in the ghetto and who made it out, which my mother did. And I'm very proud of that. I'm a little nerd. All right. I grew up in the suburbs for the most part, but we did struggle financially. Black women, we have to consider a lot when it comes to dating, and it's also a reason why black women are like least likely to date outside of their race, because of the racism thing. We fear that we're going to be treated like sex objects, and I have had these situations, and I'm not saying that I'm against dating outside of my race, because I'm completely not. I have attractions to men of all different races. Okay, I've had my time where I was dealing with a guy who was non-black. I feel nervous to even mention a specific race, but I guess I gotta be real and just say that I've dealt with white guys who, did make me feel that I was a sex object. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even just white guys, but it's just men across the board, like all men of the whole spectrum of men. They just sometimes make us feel like sex objects, including black men. Sometimes make us feel like, yeah, I'll definitely have sex with you, I'll definitely hit that, but then when it comes to committing, I would never do that. I gotta have my side chicks and my main hoe and all this different stuff. But when it comes to relationships, I'm not gonna date you, I'm not gonna be with you, I'm gonna be with someone who is a different race. But when it comes to sex, yeah, I'll gladly have sex with you. And I've dealt with this with men of all different races, black, white. You feel you have to be extra strong, because if you don't have a backbone as a black woman, people will they'll definitely do some stuff that's very insulting, and then they will expect for you to be okay with it. And then when you speak about your discomfort about about being insulted, then they'll say you being ghetto. You know what I'm saying? I dealt with a white dude who, we was hanging out, right? He sent me a text message and he said, I definitely want to know what it feels like to F you, but he did not want to date me. You know what I'm saying? He was not willing to commit. And then find out a few weeks later, because like he was complaining about how he wanted to find a girl who was adventurous and who, wanted to go on adventures with him, who was fun to be around. And I came around and I was all those things, very adventurous, very fun to be around. I'm a goofy, high energy person. And for some reason, he didn't want to date me. And we all know the reason. A few weeks later, he's dating a girl who's white, and he's saying to me, hey Sid, I finally found a girl who wants to go on adventures with me. And you can imagine how upset that made me feel. And this is a lot, and all this was like through text message, like sending me these messages through text message. And it's just like so much pain from those situations, it's humiliating. Because it's like you feel like an idiot because you considered being with this person. Like I kissed this guy and I thought about wanting to be with him and he didn't want to commit. And I was wondering what was wrong with me. But there wasn't anything wrong with me. It's just that I was black. Yeah, that got a little deep. I didn't expect that. I really didn't expect to even talk about that. But when I do these videos, I gotta talk about something real, so that people can see that this is real. This is people's reality, the struggles that we face as black women is real. We're not making this up, and this stuff really hurts, and this stuff really affects us, okay? And it gets into us in our spirit, and it makes us bitter. A lot of black women become bitter, become depressed, and become just chronically angry because we don't know what else to do sometimes. But me personally, I'm a very friendly person, and I don't go about life just being bitter and being rude and being mean to people, because that's just not how I was raised, and that's not who I am as a person. I'm always kind to people just as long as they're kind to me, And even sometimes when people aren't kind to me, I'm still kind to them because I'm always trying to be the bigger person. And I just want that wholesomeness of the black woman to be depicted in films and in TV shows and just in any way that it can be depicted. Because don't we deserve an opportunity to be depicted as the hero sometimes? When there are so many black heroes, there are so many black people, black men and black women who have saved black people and who have helped black people to have equal rights as everybody else. What's wrong with black people? What is so wrong about us that we can't have the same rights as everybody else? What's wrong with black women that we can't be looked at as beautiful like everybody else? Look at us. Look at the complexion, the big lips, the curves, the unique hairstyles, the ambitious attitudes. We bosses. And we feel that we great enough to be represented in a positive way. And that's all. Without bringing anybody else down. It's not about bringing any other race down. It's just about equality. That's it. So I will be making many, many more videos like this because I feel that the topic of race, it can go on and on and on. But this is all I have for y'all today. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye-bye.